with everyone. Indian fever. You can be part of the fun. Know the winner at every game. That's where the excitement begins. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer with the Cleveland Indians. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to the February 19th, 2018 Lake County Sentinel podcast. I'm your host, Tim Shirer, and we'll be with you for a half hour tonight. And we'll have some sports news. We'll talk about the Cavs, Monsters, and Icebreakers, the Manny Machado deal, and then we'll have audio from Terry Francona's daily press conference. And then we'll go to news and politics, and that should be interesting with the announcement today by Bernie Sanders that he's entering the presidential race. I'll give you my feelings on that, but that's in news. Let's get to sports. The Cavaliers will be at home tomorrow night against the Phoenix Suns at 7 o'clock at the Q. That'll begin the final 24-game stretch of the 2019 season. 18-19 season, and they will hopefully play better in the second half than they did in the first half. We'll have to see, but I don't know if, hopefully they can. Having some audio issues here. I don't know if we're on. Gosh, this is 2 days in a row we've had some audio problems, and it's really annoying. I think we're on. It looks like we are, hopefully. I don't know what the issues are. I'm having trouble with this microphone, I think. We're just going to start this broadcast over. Because I don't think that, now it seems like it's fine now. We'll just go with this right now. And the Cavs, like I said, hopefully they'll be in action against Phoenix on Thursday night to start the second half, the final 24 games. Hopefully Tristan Thompson will be able to get back soon. Good news today is he broke up with Khloe Kardashian, so hopefully the Kardashian curse will now be off the Cavaliers. The Monsters will be in action tomorrow night in Rochester against the Americans at 7:05. The Icebreakers will be home on Friday against the Danville Dashers. Okay. Sorry about that audio problem at the beginning. Hopefully we've got that all taken care of, and we won't have any more problems with it, because I think that we've got them worked out. The San Diego Padres have signed Manny Machado to a large contract, and I saw many comments on some fans' pages today that they are disappointed that the Indians didn't sign a guy like Machado. And I even had some guy say that the Padres are a small market team and they're willing to have a higher payroll than the Indians. Well, that's absolutely false. The last 2 years they've had a lower payroll by the Indians. Last year they were lower than the Indians by $44 million, and the year before that they were lower than the Indians by $38 million. But the thing is, they outdraw the Indians every year. So if any fan base should be mad, it should be the Padres fan base until today, because they draw pretty well and they don't get fans. With a losing team, they draw pretty well. So, yeah, they signed Machado today, and I think they will be a strong contender in the National League West for the next several years, because even if they don't sign Bryce Harper, like that is reported that they're trying to, even if they don't sign Bryce Harper, they've got Machado now. He's a really good start. He's a good player, even though I don't like his personality. He's a good player. And they are loaded in their minor league system. But we can't talk about that with Indians fans, because Indians fans don't want to know about the minor league system. They think you always have to go out and sign a free agent. So You can read my opinion on that and the Indians fans calling the Dolans cheap. You can check that out on our website at www.lakecountysentinel.com. And that will give you the information you need to know about what I believe is an unfair bias toward the Indians or toward the Dolans when the Jacobs never signed a first-time top 5 free agent ever in the whole time they owned the club. They never did. Okay, never did. And people will say, oh, they signed Roberto Alomar. Oh, yeah, they signed Roberto Alomar it was probably the third time he was a free agent, and he was near the end of his career. So don't tell me that the Jacobs were better owners than the Dolans. They weren't. They used the same practice as the Dolans. It just happened to be that they were selling out every game because they had a brand new stadium. So if you want to talk reality, that's reality. But now we're going to get to the audio from the Terry Francona press conference from earlier today, and it starts off with Machado and labor in baseball.
I mean, I pay attention. It seems like the last couple winters, things have progressed slower. You know, and I think when you have the two big guys, or Harper and Machado, when they're still out there, it's gonna bottle up the next group. I get that, and then it also slows down potential trades because teams, if they think they're still have a chance to get one of those guys, so it's kind of like a circle or cycle. And I don't know why things have slowed down. You see guys signing later and later. I don't know the reason. I know, you read that the Players Association's worried, and, I'm sure when they talk with the union and Major League Baseball, those are things that they'll talk about.
Seems to be almost a trickle-down effect where, like, some of the guys maybe sign earlier or sign deals they wouldn't necessarily deal just because they don't want to be out there bleeding and whatnot. And I think about, like, you guys got Alex Wilson on a minor league deal. Have you been surprised by any of that?
I told Alex when I talked to him, I said, Alex, you should not be a non-roster player. It's just the terrain we're navigating through right now. A lot of teams are operating that way. They don't want to put their young players, expose them to the Rule 5 draft. And if you can get a guy non-roster, I know it doesn't make the players happy, but it sure makes it easier to bring guys into spring training. And we assure our guys that when they come in, they are not at a disadvantage being non-roster. We fully expect that we're going to, when we break here, we're going to take some non-roster guys with us, and that will not be used against them.
You've talked a lot about John Edwards since he came up in September. Just given everything he's been, like, he's got this positive attitude about everything. Just how much, a guy like that, how easy is he to win?
It varied. When we were talking about calling guys up in September, there was some talk to maybe not, just because he had such a long road, and it looked like he was starting to fatigue a little bit, and everybody was so positive about what he was doing. But we ended up deciding to call him up, and we tried to really keep an eye on how much he pitched. And, truth be told, he probably should have been on the playoff roster, but we told him it just wasn't fair. All of a sudden you're into October, you're throwing innings, those kind of innings, and what he had been through didn't make sense to us for his future. And he understood that. But like you said, he's got all the ingredients, and he's a wonderful kid. He's easy to root for.
You said how spring training is really broken up into those 3 groups. With a lot of talk going in that middle group is because of the roster spots. But what is it that you exactly want to see from that first group that are just trying to make that good impression?
Well, that's what they're doing. They're here knowing that they're going to start the season somewhere else, but we want them to watch the way the veteran guys go about their business, their routines, and they're not going to be defined by however many at bats they get in spring training. They will be defined by how they do in their season. But we also told them when they play, they're trying to show that at some point, they're willing, able, and accountable enough to not just get called up, but get called up and help us win games. That's their goal. So, we may ask them to come to the training room a few minutes early in deference to the veterans, or where they park in the lot, but when they get on the field, never back off.
We talked a little bit yesterday about contract extension possibility and stuff. We talked about it seems like he doesn't, at least with us, it doesn't seem like he lets any of that affect the view sense.
Never. No, I don't think so. I mean, I think he knows he's in a great position. I mean, he's a great kid. He's a great player. He's going to be okay. He's a smart kid. He knows his future's pretty bright.
How important will it be for you guys to get back to emphasize base running, being aggressive, first and third?
Well, I mean, we've never tried to not emphasize it. We just had some guys that weren't able to do it. I mean, Yonder never did he not hustle. He just was really slow. Edwin wasn't exactly a base stealer. We've brought guys back, in Bowers, even Carlos. So 1 through 9, we don't have anybody that's a clogger, and we feel like that is a part of the game where you can separate yourself from other teams if you do it correctly. So we don't want to overlook it, because moving up 90 feet is really meaningful, and it's hard to quantify. Like in today's game, with all the numbers that you have, it's really hard to quantify. It doesn't mean it's not important.
A lot of guys who have high walk rates in their career too. That's been a point of emphasis just in gathering.
Well, I mean, but having guys get on base is always important. There's an idea behind it. And again, some people feel differently. I personally feel like you want guys to walk that almost scare the pitcher out of the zone a little bit. Not that you're going up looking for a walk, but you have guys swinging at pitches they should swing at. And then the byproduct is they're not chasing balls out of the zone, so they'll take a walk when it's there.
Well, that's it. That is the interview with Tribe skipper Terry Francona from today. It was his daily meeting with the press. We're going to try to get that to you every day during spring training so that we can give you an idea of what's going on down there in Goodyear and how the Indians are getting ready for the 2019 season. Hopefully it will be a successful season. Hopefully it will end in November. So that's pretty much it for the sports portion of our broadcast tonight. Next, we will go to the news and politics portion right after this. Welcome back to the February 19th, 2019 Lake County Sentinel podcast. I'm your host, Tim Shirer. We're now in the political portion of our broadcast tonight. There is a few topics I want to get to here, and I think they're important topics. So let's get right to them. I saw something today that a music store in Willoughby has posted a sign on its front door for people who support Donald Trump not to come to the store and shop. They don't want him there. And I got to tell you something. I got to give this guy, the owner of Joe's Music, I've got to give this guy a lot of credit. Because, you know, people in Cleveland or people around the country are afraid to talk. They're afraid to speak how they feel. Because bullies like Trump supporters will make you feel like you shouldn't have your own opinion. And I have to give this guy credit because he said what he wanted to say. He expressed his feelings, and that's it. And, you know, the good part about it is he's allowed to have his opinion, and the other side's allowed to have their opinion. But, you know, hey, as he says, this is the note that is on his door. Dear Trump sympathizers, I am truly sorry. However, I feel unclean and dirty accepting money from you. Please politely shop somewhere else. Sorry, I would rather starve and close the store than participate in wrongdoing. Many blessings to you. Hope you understand. Well, Trump supporters should understand that, for sure. They should understand that because, let's face it, he basically said thoughts and prayers to them. And, you know, there's nothing more important than thoughts and prayers to a Trump supporter, you know, especially like after a school shooting. So they should understand the many blessings part. I think this guy's got a lot of guts. I'm really glad that, you know, this guy did this. And I hope that he's successful in his business, and I hope his business improves. And I would be willing to bet his business would improve because, you know, there's a lot more people out there that don't support Trump than support him. So go Joe's Music. Also, I noticed today that Governor and Trump sympathizer Mike DeWine, big time Trump, he kisses Trump's butt all the time, DeWine. He is just, wow. Don't the Republicans say that they're going to cut taxes always? I thought they always said that. They don't believe in higher taxes. Well, what does Mike DeWine do today? Mike DeWine proposes a gas tax, a new hike to the gas tax. How about that? I thought Republicans were against higher taxes. Isn't that what they always tell us? That they're against higher taxes? It's kind of interesting that a Republican would propose a gas tax. I'm just really surprised by this. Because I thought that they never would do that. They don't propose taxes to go up for people. They like tax cuts, right? Isn't that what they tell you always? That's what they run on. They run on it every time. They run on it every time. The Democrats are going to raise your taxes. We're going to cut them. So Mike DeWine hasn't even barely been in office, not even 2 months. And what's he doing? He's going to raise the gas tax. And it'll probably get through. It'll probably get through. You know, he couldn't take money from somewhere else, maybe, to help with roads. He's going to raise the gas tax, even more than it already is. I thought I had heard it's already in the 30s per gallon, somewhere like 38%, I thought I heard. So now it's going to be even higher. It's going to be higher. The gas tax is going to be higher soon. And a Republican proposed it. Not a Democrat, a Republican governor. Our Republican governor. He raised your taxes because everybody that's an adult that drives will now pay more for gas. Mike DeWine raised your taxes. Good job voting for him. Good job voting for him. You dummies. You big dummies. You fell again for the Republican lies. How many times do they have to lie to you and tell you they're good on the economy and good on taxes for you to believe that they're not? The economy tanks when Republicans are president. The economy tanks when they're in office. The economy goes up when there are Democrats in office. Okay? So don't tell me that Republicans are better for the economy and won't raise your taxes. They do it every time. But you keep voting for them. Wake up. Stop voting for Republicans because they're going to raise your taxes. Just because they have commercials saying Democrats will do it doesn't mean it's true. The truth is they do it. They raise taxes and the economy tanks. That's what they do. Let's move on. Bernie Sanders announced that he's going to run for president today in 2020 in an already crowded field that's only going to get more crowded. As of today, with Sanders, there are 10 candidates who have, well, there are 8 candidates who have announced they're running, 2 others who have exploratory committees, which I think is just stupid. But Bernie Sanders is running again. Bernie Sanders, who I believe cost Hillary Clinton the 2020 election. Well, there was a combination. I won't blame him completely because she has to take some fault because she assumed she was going to win. So she didn't go to Michigan. She didn't go to Wisconsin. She didn't go to Ohio. And what happened? She lost those states. She wins those states. She wins the presidency. So Hillary Clinton had a part in losing. But Bernie Sanders and his hateful supporters, and they are. Let me tell you this. I'm not gonna mince words here because that's not what I do. I say it like it is. Okay? Bernie Sanders and his far left supporters are not much better than Trump supporters because you can't talk them off a ledge. Once they have it in their mind about something, that's how it is. And he brainwashes them into hating the other guys that are running. Don't worry. Whoever gets the nomination, because I predict it will not be him. Whoever gets the nomination, you watch. There will be Bernie Sanders supporters bashing that candidate. Not realizing that they could be doing damage to the country by allowing Donald Trump to gain votes. Bernie Sanders entering the presidential race is terrible. Okay? It's terrible. With that being said, if by some chance that I don't see happening, if by some chance he gets the nomination, Bernie Sanders, I will vote for him. I will do anything to get Donald Trump out of office in the next election. I will support whoever runs for president and gets the nomination on the Democratic side, as I urge you to. But with that being said, I don't like Bernie Sanders. I think Bernie Sanders is way too far left. I don't think his ideas will float. I don't think he can get them past Congress. So he'll be similar to Trump, except for he's not crazy. Okay? And I won't worry about us going to war with North Korea. I won't worry about him cuddling up to Vladimir Putin. I know that. And I won't worry about him spouting off on Twitter 5-6 times a day while he eats his McDonald's in his bed at the White House. So we'll be back to at least having a president who has some class. I'm not a fan, but I would much rather have him than I would Donald Trump. So with that being said, my leading candidate right now, who I would support for president, who has declared right now, my candidate would be, if I had to pick one, if I just had to pick one, my candidate right now would be Cory Booker. If I could choose two, the other one would be Amy Klobuchar. Those to me are the two most viable candidates right now. Klobuchar and Booker. But Booker is a little ahead of Klobuchar in my opinion. Although I like her more and more everything I hear from her. She's pretty tough, and I like tough. We need somebody who's tough but fair. We're going to finish now with the stock market. It closed today at 25,891.32. It was up 8.07 today. With Trump in office, it's gone up 5,973.32 points. That's a 23.07% increase. And when Barack Obama was in and the presidency at this point, it had gone up 4,391.25 points for a 35.43% gain. So it was rising higher under Barack Obama than it was under Donald Trump. Those are facts. You can't discount the facts. Even if you are a Trump supporter, you know they're true. You can try to discount them, but you'll fail because people with common sense won't believe you. I hope everybody has a good night. Hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow at the same time. Until then, have a good night, everybody.